Scary, isn't it?
It's a little daunting for a country guy.
Leave your horse outside, no woes.
This is a very, very friendly crowd. So
Well,
fear
sometimes.
not. It's,
For now.
you have nothing to worry about. Thanks, Howard. Thank you for coming in. As I sent out the email, if you want to take the first 5 or 7 minutes with your own personal statement as to why you're here, what your background is, however you want to do that.
Okay, I'm not really sure, so I guess the beginnings of everything for me make me a little bit more comfortable in a sense. I started, grew up in Sullivan County, went to school in Monticello, graduated Ithaca College in 1979, went into our family, or my father's family business in Rock Hill, a retail insurance agency, doing home, auto, and local businesses. In the early 80s, we competed against a few other large brokerage firms for a sponsorship with NYSARC, which is New York State AHRC. They have 40 operating organizations similar to what Sullivan ARC is, under a master umbrella throughout the state. We were fortunate enough to be endorsed by them, which kind of changed our destiny. At that point, we went from a retail local insurance agency to building more of a wholesale program administration type of entity. And what that means actually is we would be the face of, at that point was Continental, and Continental eventually merged into CNA. But we did the underwriting, the backroom operations, the claims, the risk management, and local agents and large brokerage firms would come to us. So we took that specialty and kind of grew that within the developmental disability community nationally, went state by state by state. Obviously, you know, a little bit of hills and valleys along the way, but we developed that organization specifically for that and kind of put our retail arm a little bit off to the side. In the middle of the 90s, we branched off into behavioral health addiction treatment and eventually moved into the AIG member companies. 2008, obviously the financial crisis hit and AIG was in trouble. So we started another program with ACE in that area. AIG rebounded. We have mutual programs with those two companies. Recently in January completed an acquisition with AIG, which will grow us about 30% to all of their social service business that comes into all of AIG on a national basis. So that's kind of my background from the ground up, in the sense of understanding different parts of the insurance world, different parts of the country, different thought processes with a lot of different things. I became CEO in 2000, which is about the last 14 years I've been doing what I've been doing. Along the way, in the 90s, I was on the Town of Thompson Planning Board, so my experiences with understanding development, etc., started a little bit there. I'm on a board in the Bronx for a mental health, a federally qualified health center, and doing the financial piece for that, so I have a little bit of understanding in that area. My feelings about the IDA, I wanted to get back into. I haven't been involved on a direct basis with anything specific to Sullivan County for probably 20 years. And recently I thought that it would be kind of neat to get back into something locally, because I have a little bit of time. I'm not involved in a lot of different things other than the business and a few boards. So I looked around and it was kind of neat to see the IDA having a few empty spots. I think that this is kind of a right time for Sullivan's second phase of growth. It would be exciting with gaming. Obviously tourism and agriculture are the mainstays. The IDA has done a phenomenal job over the past number of years. You know, as I looked through some material, I think there's 40 some odd tax abatement projects that have gone through for the last couple of years, 20 some loans. So I think it really touches upon some great things and has been doing a lot of, not just bringing in things, if I look at things, but kind of keeping our businesses here that are here. every county has an IDA, so everybody obviously is looking at our people as much as we're looking at their people. So for the retention aspect alone, I think the IDA has been doing some neat stuff. I went and visited the offices in Liberty, met with a couple of the people there that were very well versed, smart, happy, intuitive, and I just thought it would be kind of neat. So I'm interested from that perspective, and I think I could add some value. That's, if I'm running along too quickly, then that's it.
Okay, that's great. So we have a few questions that we would like to ask, and if we get through these questions, then we will probably open it up to the board to ask further questions. But the first question is sort of an obvious question, I think, because there are many misconceptions regarding IDAs and their purposes and what their role is in economic development. So what we want to ask you is, what is your understanding of the purpose of an IDA, and specifically what their role in economic development is here in Sullivan County?
I think my understanding of the role of an IDA is to try and grow and assist businesses that are here and outside to compete, to bring in businesses that we can effectively give a hand to grow, that are competent and will bring jobs at every level from an outside perspective. From an inside perspective, I think it's to kind of help retain the businesses that we have if they need a little bit of help and direction, not only from a financial perspective, but from a thought process perspective.
Okay. Do you feel it is appropriate to promote your own business or property to an IDA applicant when the applicant is aware of your IDA member status?
Not sure I understand that. I'm not a part of the IDA.
No, if you were to be on this board,
right,
and an applicant came in, do you feel it is appropriate for you to promote your business to an applicant?
That's an ethics type of thing, which is, I read both. I didn't read the IDA's ethics, but I read the county ethics that it appears that we've adopted, and that, obviously that's not, that's an ethical issue. My business is really outside of this area, so that wouldn't be appropriate for me. But if it were in the area, then it's fairly self-serving. The thing that I think you can do if you didn't, not promoting your own business, in other words, I wouldn't personally grow, but you can use my business as an example of, we've been able to grow. We have a huge employment base, and we're looking for more on the secondary market. In other words, we don't necessarily always need a primary employee, but we could use a secondary employee. So I would think that allowing, in discussing that with businesses that come in to say, you know what, there are other employment opportunities if you have a husband, wife, spouse, etc. I mean, the merits of why you'd want to bring somebody in to show that, that we're much more vital than just giving dollars to something. I think it really, you need to promote a broader base of thought.
Okay, with the possibility of gaming developers coming to Sullivan County and seeking IDA benefits, do you believe financial ability to actually pay full taxes should be a reason to deny an applicant's benefits?
I don't mean to keep being difficult. Can you say it again? I'm not
sure. No, not a problem. And this is just ancillary to the question, but because of the possibility of gaming coming to Sullivan
right.
County, we'll have large developers now coming probably to the IDA. Do you believe that their financial ability to pay full taxes should inhibit them from receiving benefits from the IDA?
I think it's a very individualized situation. Without understanding what's being developed, who the projects are for, I'm not in a position to answer because I don't know enough about the background. I don't think you can say in a blanket statement that somebody that had the IDA's purpose is to compete and bring in development. It appears we want casinos very badly. What those casinos are and who develops them and what they bring to the county, in the sense of, is it just self-contained? Is it going to have offshoots? Is the public allowed? You know, is it a resort? It's a far broader question to answer than I'm prepared to without understanding a little bit deeper. And I'm not avoiding it. You know, you just don't, you know, should we be giving money to people that have money? I guess you need to know if they're gonna, if a casino was gonna be in Orange County as opposed to us, and we needed to give money to assist them, not fund the project, to make sure that we're bringing people past the Woodbury Common area, I would want to look and understand that much more before I would say, no, they're very wealthy, you know, let's not do it. It's like cutting off our nose, in a sense.
Mhm.
So I think it just needs a little bit deeper thought as to what the implication is if we do or don't.
How do you feel a casino resort development will impact economic development in the business community countywide?
I think it's one piece of a lot of pieces. You know, we've been tourism and agriculture forever, and with Bethel Woods and a lot of the agricultural thought processes, I think a casino will help add and bring people as an attraction. I don't necessarily, I think the first couple of years you'll have construction growth and you'll have restaurant and gas and even housing. After that, it really depends on the design of the project. But is it, you know, I don't necessarily think it's the only thing. If I was an IDA board member, I would look to grow a much more balanced approach in addition. I don't think it's where our resources should be totally, nor do I think it should be exclusionary because it's a given.
Thank you.
As a potential IDA member, have you or your family ever received IDA benefits, and how has that influenced your desire to be on the board?
I have not. We have not. You know, when we built a project 15 years ago, we opted not to, and so it hasn't influenced.
Okay. Do you believe the IDA should include equitable efforts in small business development as afforded to larger job creators?
I think we need balance right on through in total. I think that's very important.
And the last question that we have, there's a scenario first and then a quick question. Periodically, the UTAP, or the Uniform Tax Abatement Policy, is reviewed with the taxing jurisdictions, and the pilot programs are changed, added, or eliminated. Now the scenario is a developer submits an application for a specific pilot and meets all the criteria for the pilot. They've satisfied their environmental review process and has a favorable cost-benefit analysis. They show the financial capability to build and maintain the project. What is your opinion as to their rights of getting the pilot and sales and mortgage tax abatements?
You're saying they've met all the qualifications for it?
Met all the qualifications.
They've built their business model based on it, and you're saying at the point that they shouldn't get it?
No, I'm asking you what your opinion is. Is there anything that would prohibit them from getting it?
If they've met the qualifications and if we feel that it's a project that will add an enhancement to the area with job revitalization and thought process, then I don't see why they wouldn't. You know, but again, the only thing I'm not sure of is the process. If a project comes before the IDA, my thinking is that, you know, they're looking for money, they qualify, but it still has to provide balance as to what our thought process would be. In other words, I don't think it's in other words, it's not a black box underwritten thing. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a board. It would just be an implementation process.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
No, that's it, just outward thinking.
Good. No, it's great. Those are the questions. So at this point, we have some time left. If anybody on the board has a question for Howard, please. Anybody? Going once?
I wasn't the quickest one, was I?
No.
I did a lot of work in preparation.
No.
I had a comment for that, but I was just so holding on to it. Thank you very much.
Thank
Howard.
you.
We appreciate it. Oh, you have a question, Cora?
I'm sorry.
The usual.
My name's Cora
So just in the interest of fairness, one of the candidates started with talking about what they thought were their transferable skills or qualities or, you know, from their previous experience. So if you could use like,
My transferable skills,
Just, you know, like.
humor.
Yeah, that's a good. I'm glad you put that first. I was gonna say you're the only person who used the word happy, which I think happiness is a good thing.
Well, it kind of softens your thinking as opposed to starting off a little bit on edge. I'm a business person. I've been a business person my whole life, and I think that there's, the IDA again has been doing a great job, and there's a couple spots, and so I don't think there's any, I think that filling out from a business perspective would be something I would offer. I think balance and understanding the community and a lot of the different personalities is with some legacy here, I think that's a plus. I think that we built our business in moderation as opposed to you looking for that one big thing, which, you know, as everybody says, they've been waiting for that one big casino. But our county is going to grow based on really balance of all aspects in all the surrounding towns, and I think that looking at all sorts of projects to fill in those needs is huge. I think not only bringing in larger businesses, I think is super important, but the secondary job market is huge that we don't really tap into. So when we bring a large entity with X amount of employees, their families have people that work. And so those jobs are never really counted, and I think need to be. And I think that the people that have employment, I have my chief information officer happens to, a fellow by the name of Brian Delaney is the Neversink Democratic leader and has been there for 20 years coming to me, and his wife works. And so he's filling out the Neversink, some of the outer lying areas. I know that was a question that was thrown around for a while. What are we going to do for the smaller areas? I think that alone does stuff. You know, I think that there's a broader thought to how we grow and develop.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else for Howard? Okay. Howard, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
It's like an umbrella, I leave it everywhere.
Okay, as I stated before, we will take some time for some public comment if anybody has anything that they would like to offer to the board as we go through this process. If there are any comments on maybe something you heard today, we're happy to listen to that, and then we will move on to our part of it. So is there anybody that would like to make any comment, or is there any public comment?
Gary Moss, Town of Coshocton. I think you had 4 pretty good candidates there today that conveyed their life experiences. However, I want to bring it to the legislative body that I think it's very important to, in this case, to serve on the IDA, to have a business background and experience. That's essential. I don't think that's something you can wait for on a learning curve. And that's about it. Okay?
Anybody else?
I just wanted to say.
Oh, you have a comment.
this
Well, turn that camera around.
Film yourself. You got to film yourself.
I just wanted to say these interviews will be online, hopefully in the next 24 hours. So if you want to review them, I'll label them IDA interviews, and I'll do them by each person's name. And if you want the website, I think a number of you have it. I can.
Well, I know you sent me an email.
It's.
Why don't you say what the
It's
website is?
youtube.com/community film watch. And if you want more information about the initiative, you can go to northschoolstudio.com.
Community Film.
Watch. Yep.
Are you going to put your own comments in there as well?
No. I don't do comedy. Hey, you're the filmmaker now.
I am. I'm making a film now.
That's right.
Ken,
I think that's what it's worth.
Gene?
Yes.
I
Ken
know
is-
it's going to
Ken is
be a
done.
tough decision,
You had 4 good candidates. Those who do not make it through the first ballot, I think you should hold in reserve, so if another seat opens up, they should be considered for that seat. I'm very happy with the process that you went through and narrowed it down to really 4 good candidates, and I'm glad I'm sitting here, not there.
We were so expecting you.
But I was having a conversation with Jennifer before, and there's a term that I always hear of thinking outside the box. My reaction has always been, why were you in the box?
Yeah,
Okay?
of course.
Because the box has 6 sides to it, you can't see out of it. So I think it's one of the most important things for any growth is you always got to be on the outside of those walls you put up.
Thank you.
You want an interview?
Is there any other comment? We have a motion to adjourn. Jonathan, Kitty. Okay, thank you, everybody, and thanks for coming out.